I guess in some ways, any race really is about opportunities gained and opportunities lost.
This one had some big swings.
But it also seems like this was a key race for a few individuals to either gain or lose ground.
Right. Well, if you finish way ahead of where you think you're gonna, you gained. If you finish way behind where you think you're gonna, you lost.
Well, let's go down them one by one, starting, of course, with Tony Stewart, who now is outside of the top 10, drastically outside of the top 10 for Stewart, without a win to his credit.
You got to love a guy who stands up for what he believes in. But standing up for what he believes in cost Tony 35 points. Now, we don't know how significant those points are as we sit here today, but it wouldn't be a stretch to think that when you get to Richmond, he might really want those 30 points. Might make his life a lot easier if he had those 30 points. So we'll just have to see how much that cost him, but it could be a season-defining moment, I think.
It could be. It could also have been a season-defining moment for Juan Pablo Montoya. Now, here's a guy who, towards the end of the race, was marching towards the front, pulling off some great moves.
I don't know about marching.
He was also bullying his way towards the front, and he ended up finishing 22nd. Now, Juan Pablo Montoya, I think, is safely inside the top 20. I don't think he's in danger of falling out of the top 20, but he doesn't have a win. Now there are guys outside of the top 20 who do, other guys trying to get into the top 20 like Brad Keselowski who do. Juan Pablo Montoya needs to get a win if he wants to get in the chase, and Sonoma was the perfect opportunity for him to do that. Now everything points to Watkins Glen. All of a sudden there's even more pressure when we get to that race, and we've seen the way Juan Pablo Montoya deals with pressure. I'm not sure that he's got enough friends out there to help him to victory at Watkins Glen.
It's going to make his life harder. He can win that race, and he's actually in a better position when you think about it than another guy who maybe lost a good chance at Sonoma, and that's Marcus Ambrose. He came home fifth, though. So what I like about this is, he didn't have the car figured out. They couldn't adapt to the new tires. A lot of teams had problems with that. Ambrose put 4 tires on at the end and drove it back to fifth. Didn't give up a ton of points. He's pretty close to that top 20. He wasn't going to sweep the road course races anyway. Yeah, it would have been nice to get this one. Now he's going to have to win Watkins Glen. That was always the case. He was always going to have to win one at a road course. One might get it done for him, still might get it done for him. He's going to have to avoid bad finishes, and he's going to have to win Watkins Glen.
But he also has to get in the top 20. He's got the double whammy.
Well, I think if he avoids bad finishes, he's got a good shot at that.
Now, there are guys who made the most of the opportunity presented to them at Sonoma. Jeff Gordon, I think, is a prime example. Here's a guy who was outside of the top 10, even though he had a couple of wins. Now he jumped 3 spots. Right. Not only is he in the top 10, he's 9th. He's got those 2 wins. He didn't have a race-winning car. He didn't even have a top 5 car, really, but he ended up coming home second, which is just brilliant for Jeff Gordon and bodes well not only for him, but for other guys like Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing about the wild card is if you're in the wild card, if you're in contention for a wild card, you're going to want to see Gordon in the top 10. And I think with those points that he secured, if there was ever any doubt that he was going to make the chase, I think that doubt is now gone. Not that there was, but he earned a lot of points yesterday. And it reminded me of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the process and what Jr.'s been doing this season.
Yeah, taking what is not necessarily a great car, but getting a great finish.
And you got to look at Carl Edwards, too. I mean, this is a guy who is not a road course specialist, although he did win the Nationwide Series race last year at Road America, I believe. But he gave up the opportunity to go back there and defend that title to stay here and stay focused on his Cup effort, and it paid serious dividends with a third-place finish. It reminds me of 2008, what he was able to do at Martinsville, what he was able to do at Phoenix when he came up just that short of a title. So Carl Edwards, if you didn't think he was a title contender, it's pretty obvious now, at least, that he is.
The last guy I want to offer in terms of opportunities gained, a guy who took advantage of this Sonoma race is Brad Keselowski. Yes, he came home 10th, which, 10th, but a top 10 for
Brad
him
Keselowski
at a
Sonoma?
road course, trying to get into the top 20. That's great. I mean, he's now only 12 points out of the top 20, and remember, he's
already got that win. He's got the win that Ambrose wants. He's got the win that Montoya wants. He's already got it.
So all he has to do is make up enough ground to be in the top 20 and hope nobody comes up with 2 wins.
And the Penske equipment is now much better. If I'm Brad Keselowski, Buzz Cutler, I go conservative. I just want to avoid those I want to avoid the 6-point day. I want to avoid the 8-point day.
You got 12 spots to make up, though. 12 spots to make up.
That's nothing. If you
under this new point system,
it's nothing. If you card top 50, what kills you is when you finish and you take home 4 points or 6 points or 8 points. That's what kills you. You take home 20 points every time out, you'll be in the top 20, Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano are basically tied in 22nd and 23rd.
Yeah.
They're 175 points back. Martin Truex Jr. is 161 points back. That's 14 points separating number 18 from number 23. Brad Keselowski, I think he needs to get a buffer between him and that 21st spot before he goes conservative.
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't be aggressive because his stuff is good enough now, and the only way you're really out of it is if you make a mistake and you end up in the wall. If you tick someone off and you end up in the wall. Now you really got a huge mountain to climb. All right, that's our look at opportunities gained, opportunities lost. Infineon Raceway, Sonoma, California.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.